guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Marley. Today's video is going to be a Q&A about UCLA and just kind of what you should know as an incoming freshman or transfer student, or really anyone going to UCLA specifically or any kind of similar school. So I got all of these questions from comments from you guys on my past videos. So if you have any questions after this, make sure you leave them because I do read them, and then clearly I'm making a video about it. So the first question that I have is, are you allowed an espresso machine in your dorm room? The quick answer to that is no. Technically in the dorms, you are not allowed to have a hot plate, a kettle, any kind of like machine that could catch fire. The only thing you're allowed to have like that is a microwave, but you can only get the microwave if you get it through the school. So if you do like the micro fridge rental. So that's my first tip, is definitely do the micro fridge rental. It's so easy. Like we literally had it there waiting in our room when we got there, and then when we left, all you have to do is clean it out and unplug it, and they deal with getting it out of the room. No one has to store it over the summer or anything. It's just so simple. Most people do that, I think. Next question is, where do you store your suitcases and bins once you move in? You do usually have like a lot of bins and suitcases moving everything in, since you need, all of your bedding and your clothes and all of your appliances and everything. I made a lot of bins, and I brought one suitcase and a duffel bag. I drove because I live in California and I'm going to school in California, so it was an easy drive. So this is based on my experience as a student who was able to drive, and my parents drove me so then they could take anything back to our house. Once I moved in, I emptied all of the bins and boxes that I used, and then my parents brought all of the bins, like the plastic bins, back home and kept them in our garage, because then I used them again when I moved out of my dorm at the end of the year. And then I kept one duffel bag in my dorm room that could fold down pretty easily, and I used that for when I was traveling home and back and forth during breaks. At UCLA, at least, there's not really any space for you to keep the bins unless you're going to use them for a different application in your dorm room. But to just have empty bins, you definitely don't have space. I know that it's really popular these days to get the IKEA bags that zip up. Those are really nice because they fold down really easily, so if you were to leave them at school, you could fit them in. Do you walk to your classes from your dorm, or do you use the rental scooters or other means? I personally am not a very coordinated gal, so I did not ride the scooters, and I don't have an electric skateboard. So I walk to class. Pretty much everyone walks on campus, and I think it's so wonderful. That becomes a social part of your day. If you're walking with someone, you're like, oh, I'm actually going to get food, do you want to come? Then they just join in with you. That is not to say that you can't. I know a lot of people who will be running late to their 8 a.m. and it's 7:50 and they have 5 minutes to get down there, and they're not going to make it unless they scooter. So they grab a bird and they hop on it and they get down to class. So those birds are kind of all over campus. You can pretty easily find them and access them if you do want. And I would say that more people probably take them into Westwood to if they're going to get food or grocery shopping or whatever like that. Again, because we have so many hills, most people just walk, and it's super doable and it's really fun and you get your steps in. So I don't mind it at all. The next question, is there a short time frame between classes, and if so, how is it handled? You design your own schedule. So you're typically going to have 3 or 4 classes, and you're going to choose them beforehand, which I think most people have already done for this year. If you're a freshman, you're going to do that in orientation. So you may have already done it, but you may have not. You have to figure out, will I have time to get from this class to this class? And again, because our campus is the smallest UC campus, it is pretty easy to get to anywhere on campus pretty quickly. That I typically will give myself 10 to 15 minutes to be able to get somewhere. And that's I'm leaving class right at the second that it's out, and I'm getting to class right when it begins. But it always works out. Usually professors start 2 or 3 minutes late. But I also like to have all of my classes at once and then be done for the day. Whereas some people like to spread it out more, have an hour in between, be able to go get food, have a snack, walk around with friends, whatever. It's whatever your preference is. But I would say that it's definitely never a problem to get to a class as long as they don't overlap at all. So make sure that when you're choosing your classes, none of them overlap. Next question is, which dorm has the most freshmen? Oh my gosh, it's going so quickly now. This is so exciting. I'm slowly going to turn golden. If you're interested in being in a freshman dorm, I would highly, highly, highly recommend doing a classic. So you can do a classic double or triple. I would say do a classic triple. Pretty much every freshman does it. So if you're looking to be with freshmen and you are a freshman, then do a classic triple. I believe there's a classic triple in Reber, Deneve, and Hedrick halls. I lived in Reber Hall. I loved it. I had friends who lived in Hedrick Hall. They loved it. I don't know a ton about Deneve. With rooming, if you don't like where you're living or you don't like your roommates or something's going on, there is an opportunity later on in the quarter to do a roommate swap, and you can change dorm buildings and roommates if you want. It's not an easy process, but it is a process that you can do to make yourself and your roommates feel more comfortable. But yeah, I would say if you're looking for freshman dorms, definitely go for the classic. As you go up in the scale of like niceness, it becomes less and less freshman. Okay, so the next question is, does everyone live on the hill? So typically first and second years all live on the hill unless they're in a sorority or a fraternity, in which case will go live in their fraternity house or the sorority house their second year. So pretty much all freshmen live on campus, then the majority of sophomores, and then some juniors and seniors will live on campus, but a lot of them will do on-campus apartments or apartments nearby campus. Do you have guaranteed housing, and how is the UC housing crisis at UCLA? If you don't know, there's a housing crisis for a lot of the UCs where they barely get guaranteed 1 year of housing. I have friends at Santa Cruz who have really struggled with this, and the same with Santa Barbara. UCLA has just guaranteed all of our incoming freshmen 4 years of housing. That's pretty incredible. If you want to live on campus for any of the years that you're going to be at UCLA, you are guaranteed that. Hold on, let's see if I can move us. So the next question that I got asked, which was kind of a fun one for me, is what's the psychology department like? How do you like the major? For those of you who do not know, I am a psychology major at UCLA. It's a BA in psychology, so a Bachelor of Arts instead of science. I think that it's a little bit more humanities and liberal arts focused rather than hardcore STEM, neuroscience, and cognitive science sides and like biology sides of psychology. And then I'm also planning on incorporating a minor in brain and behavioral health, which is a more science-based minor. So I'll kind of get my STEM side of psychology through that, and then the more humanities and liberal arts side through the major itself. If you're looking for much more like psychobio, neuroscience, or cognitive science, we do have those majors at UCLA. So if you're kind of more interested in that, or as a pre-med, I would say lean more towards those instead of psychology as a major. We do still have a lot of STEM course requirements though. Like I had to take stats, I have to take psychological statistics, I had to take a life science, I had to take a physical science. Okay, so in a similar sense, someone asked what's a pre-major course? At UCLA, we all come in as pre-majors. So as a pre-major, you pretty much are there saying like, I have this focus, I want to study on it, but I haven't declared this yet because I need to do a certain number of requirements before I can apply into the major. The pre-major courses are like prep courses in order to enter the major. You have to do a C or better in all of your pre-major courses, and you have to finish all the pre-major courses by the end of your fall quarter, your third year at UCLA. You can't fail any of the prep courses, and you can't repeat any of the prep courses. The pre-major courses for psychology are a life science course, a stats course, physics or chemistry, philosophy, Psych 10, Psych 100A, and Psych 100B. You can find all the pre-major course requirements and suggestions on the actual site for the major or minor. I'll put a link to this list as well as how you can access the other ones in the description box. So if you want more information on pre-majors and what those kind of pre-major requirements might be for your major or minor, just click that link and it'll send you over to how to figure that out. People are here. Oh no. We're moving yet again. Let's go. Where were we? So another question is, what is a Fiat Lux? A Fiat Lux is a 1 credit course that I think is mostly only open for freshmen, although sometimes they open them up for sophomores as well. And it's really, really small, and it's usually a really kind of niche topic taught by a professor. They're all very like discussion-based and project-based. They're usually known to be kind of easier courses, but really engaging, really interesting. And since they're only 1 credit, it's kind of like a low-pressure course. I kind of wish that I had taken one. They are in pretty high demand, so if you're going to enroll in them, I would say definitely try to enroll in them during first pass, just since it's only 1 credit. If you're taking like a 5 and a 4 credit, enroll in a Fiat Lux, which is 1, and then you get your 10. On a similar note, someone asked what a freshman cluster was. I did take a freshman cluster, and I ended up dropping out of my freshman cluster after the first quarter. All 3 quarters of your freshman year, you're with the same people the whole time, and since you're in it for a whole year, you really get immersed in the topic itself, so make sure you choose one that you like. Yeah, you have lecture each week and discussion each week, and then the last quarter is a seminar, so it's usually 3 hours with one specific professor or TA from the cluster. There's one on aging, there's one on race, there's one on food. I took the one that was on the universe and the cosmos and life, which was really, really cool. It's not to say that I didn't like the course. Pretty much the concept is that you get all your GEs done for a certain subject, which is in theory really nice, but I signed up for one not understanding what that really meant. So I was getting the GE credit, but I wasn't getting the pre-major credit. And it turned out that I was going to have to repeat all of those courses anyways. Pretty much it was redundant for me to be taking the course. And then the last thing I will say about the clusters though, which is really nice, is that it satisfies your Writing 2 requirement, which is a requirement that everyone has to satisfy at UCLA. It's hard to get into any Writing 2 classes just because they're in such high demand. And the last question that I got was, do you need a car? And I think the answer for me, at least, is no. It's very easy to get around campus. Like I said, it's a walking campus, so everyone kind of just walks everywhere. You can get to a grocery store, doctor's office, workout classes, super accessible by walking. And then there's always Uber, which you can do. And then I love the bus, which is only like $1.75 to take the bus pretty much anywhere in LA. But if your friends have a car or your roommate has a car or anything like that, you're set. And I would say just offer some gas money and call it a day. That's pretty much all the questions that I was asked. If you have any other questions for me, definitely let me know in the comments and I will try to respond to them. But hopefully this eased some stress or clarified some questions before you head into your first year at UCLA or any other college of that sort. But yeah, hopefully it helped. So we'll see you in the next video. Bye!